In this problem, we're asked to combine all terms under a single square root. And before I give you the solution to this problem, let me say a few words as to why we may want to do this. Especially because in another problem, we'll have to do the exact opposite. We'll be presented with a large number under a square root, and we'll have to extract the largest possible part of it from under the root. And both kinds of problems may refer to these opposite tasks as simplifying. Well, as we discussed in another video, there is no contradiction in the fact that two opposite tasks may be both thought of as simplifying. In this particular case, there is sometimes an advantage to having just one square root applied to one large quantity. In other situations, there may be an advantage to having as much as possible outside the square root. So both tasks make sense and may be useful in various scenarios. Now let's turn our attention to the task at hand of combining all terms under the square root. For that, you need to think of the number outside the square root as the square root of something in its own right. And 5, of course, is the square root of 25. And now that we're multiplying two square roots together, we can combine their arguments. There is a formula that tells us that this step is legal, and it is called the product property of square roots. Or, when written with fractional powers, it can be thought of as a special case of the product property of exponents. So the answer is the square root of 75. In conclusion, when a quantity enters the square root, it will end up as the square of the original value. So when you're doing this kind of calculation, you should always skip this step and jump straight to the point where the outside quantity is inside the square root as the square. Here are a few examples to wrap up the video. Hey, thanks for watching. Click on this logo to check out our complete SAT math platform. And if you know someone studying for the SATs, please let them know about it. Thank you. Hey, got it on the very first try.